Motivated. I'm just going to be honest, I did not want to come tonight. I didn't. And I wouldn't have if Derek hadn't asked me. And you're going to have to cut me some slack. Today was literally the worst day in my real estate investment career. Project I worked on for 3 years died a nasty, horrible death. So I did not have as much time as I would have liked to put into these slides. So you're going to have to take notes. I did have a chance to go through my notes one time, so this means that I am going to forget some stuff. Feel free to answer questions. Other than that, we're gonna hop right in it. All right. So first of all, who likes money? Come on, who likes money? All right. Who wants to know how to make it fast with none of your own money, no work, and no time? All right, you can go home because I don't know how to do that. I just wanted to start with that because I thought it was funny how some of these speakers. This is actually my first PowerPoint and my first presentation, so bear with me on that.
Runs a renegade for over 3 years.
I have not spoken yet, so yeah, don't buy the lie. The only way you're ever going to make money is hard work and failing to success. No matter what I tell you today, you're going to go out, you're going to make mistakes. And if you quit, you're done. If you get back up and you learn, you're going to be fine. What I'm going to share with you is a myriad of ways I have lost tons of money, time, and pain, so you could actually make money. And it hurt a lot, too, by the way. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about me. Actually, I don't think my wife knew I was going to put this picture in here.
No.
This is an appropriate picture, because I've been doing this for 7 years. And I came in at 4:30 in the morning, and she's asleep with her little red-nosed pit that I got at Christmas, about 6 months old. Her family's in town, and I spent most of the day with them, and then when everybody went to sleep, I went to work. I say again, hard work. Hard work. Don't care if you don't get any sleep, miss your damn TV show, friends want to go out drinking, hard work. Did this suck? Absolutely. But I thought it was appropriate, and she was so cute, going baby shy. So she didn't even know. I snapped a picture before I got into bed. I've been working in Detroit for 7 years, 2 years from Washington State. My wife and I actually moved from Pullman, Washington to the city of Detroit. That was in May 2007. I know what you're thinking, perfect timing. We didn't know the real estate market was going to crash and we were going to lose all our money. It seemed like a really good idea at the time. Bad timing, definitely bad timing. We arrived in May, I'd done a ton of deals, made a ton of money, and by the end of July, I was broke. We're talking like $750,000 broke, like gone in months, right? Completely broke. By September, living without electricity, couldn't afford gas, walking to the coffee shop to plug in our laptops so we could do our work. So, why do we do this? Well, first of all, we had no choice. We'd already quit our jobs. We'd already moved to Detroit. It only been 2 or 3 months. And quite frankly, if I had a little bit more money, I probably would have wallowed in my misery a little bit longer. But when you want food and electricity, something in all of us comes out that you're either going to like or you don't like, and I liked it for the most part. So, I mostly wholesale and do rentals. I've done a lot of flips, and we'll go into that, but not since 2007. I have done refinances. Seen the lost mortgage broker. We still got one back there. There is a way to do that. It's slow and painful, but if you structure it, you actually do better, make money in the meantime, and I'll go over that. And 350 wholesale deals, mostly international, all in the state of Detroit. Good areas of the state of Detroit. There's a difference. Only $5,000 house guys, you know who we are. I bought a house for $28,000 that I sold for $36,000. This was in the city of Detroit. That's the kind of neighborhoods I'm dealing with here. So, all right. Let's make some promises. I didn't want to be here, but I'm glad I am because I learned a lot, especially about the mortgages. I met a couple of really cool people, and some people I spoke to on the phone. Hope you feel the same way. I am happy to be here, but the reality is, my time is precious, and your time is just as precious. And I like that you're here, especially these vendors. I love all these vendors. You could be home watching the NBA or the NHL tonight, right? You could be watching TV. So, but you're here, and you're here to learn. I'm going to teach you not everything I know because I can't in 45 minutes to an hour, but I'm going to go over all the big stuff, and at the end, I'm going to give you an action plan that you can put into effect tonight. So the promise I want to make is I will tell you everything I can, and when you see it, you'll be amazed. I am literally giving you great stuff that I spent tens of thousands of dollars making mistakes on. But the promise is you're going to pay attention, you're going to ask questions, you're not going to be afraid, and when you go home tonight, please do one thing on the action plan. One thing is all before you go to bed. Take you 10 minutes. Take you 10 minutes, because no matter what I say up here, I'm not Tony Robbins, I'm not trying to get you excited, but I'm wasting my time up here. Success is an action game. Action. I don't care if you can't speak English, you can't read. I'm working with a guy that when he types, it's embarrassing. He runs his own business and he's starting real estate. He's going to kick ass. How do I know? Because this man just will not stop. His IQ is probably 100. And he's going to destroy people with 160 IQ. Why? Because success is an action game. My favorite quote, it's a little dirty. Education without application is masturbation. Learn to do it. Learn to do it. Learn to do it. Yep. So we're going to do it. So wholesaling. This is primarily what I do. What is wholesaling? Wholesaling is about value. And there's several ways to determine value. If you're in a market where value on a property is easy to establish, wholesaling is beneath that value. If you're more in a market like in Detroit, maybe the value you add is knowledge. Maybe the value you have is a team. Maybe the value is your time and your resources that you put into something, bringing a project from 0 to 100 for somebody else who doesn't know how, or doesn't have the time, or doesn't want to. I do the last two. I wholesale to investors that I know, like, and trust in areas I don't do stuff in, and then I add value. Not value like, hey, this property's worth this, I'm selling to you for this. It doesn't work like that. I buy it, I rehab it, I put a renter in it, or a land contract tenant in it, and I sell it. We call that turnkey to a cash flow investor who either doesn't live here, doesn't want to do it themselves, doesn't have the time to do it, or doesn't trust themselves to do it. That's what wholesaling is, and the best part is for cash. All that financing crap we were talking about earlier, there's a reason why I went to this, because financing in Detroit is nothing short of painful, absolutely painful. I got killed on FHA in 2009. I mean, I'm just slaughtered. It was a bloodbath. It was like 300 only. I didn't put up much of a fight. You know, it wasn't 3 days beforehand. It was more like I got my front whooped in 10 minutes. So, all right. Next one. Oh, wait. Fire. Just kidding. Wholesaling's come a long way since I started. When I say a long way, I mean it's like night and day. When I started wholesaling in 2005, you needed $50,000 to really get started in wholesale. Websites were really expensive. The knowledge hadn't disseminated yet. Social media didn't exist. Squeeze pages were literally in their infancy. Google AdWords is still something you hadn't heard of. Most of the stuff you did was direct mail. Huge startup costs, right? Huge startup costs. Take notes on this. You can start a wholesaling business for $2,000 or less. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting how well you can do it right now, 7 years later, how much better you can do it than I did when I started for significantly less money. What do you need to start? You need a scanner. You need a cell phone, preferably a smartphone. You'll be out looking at houses, managing rehabs, doing all that stuff. This is and for those who don't want to get a smartphone, your customer is not the person sitting next to you. Your customer is in Singapore. And when they call, you answer. There's a huge time difference. I'm usually up to 3 or 4 in the morning. I start on England at 11 o'clock. Sometime between 2 and 5, I gotta go do all my properties and manage everything. I gotta go home, eat. I gotta get back on Skype at 7, because that's when Australia's waking up. I didn't have mobile devices, my life would absolutely suck. So, at least one mobile device, preferably a smartphone, something you can take pictures and video with and you get in the bind. You're going to need a blog. And I say blog website. Well, aren't those two separate things? Yes. When I started, what they told you to do was you had your main business page and you had a blog. And that's what I currently have, yet I'm fixing. But the reality is, blogs have come so far and the rules have changed so much. You want a blog that is your main website. And you can do it with WordPress for free, or you can do it with Tumblr. Those are the two I recommend. WordPress or Tumblr. All right? Start a blog. You need a video camera. Like that little thing I got over there, high def, 110 bucks. Stupid cheap. You need a digital camera. Got that way? Y'all know what a digital camera looks like. You get a really nice digital camera for under $10. Flashlight. Nothing fancy. Something that when you're walking through foreclosures, you take a look at. They need access to the internet. If you can't afford this stuff, walk. Like I said, we live without electricity. We didn't have internet. We had to walk to the coffee shop. Go to the local library. You need an email. And actually, I should put domain name before email. So you need a domain name, a professional domain. And if you can, and if you do this tonight, get your first and last name.com. When I started, you made more money if you pretended to be bigger than what you are. Now it's the exact opposite. Most people don't want to work with corporations or big business. They want to work with individuals. Unfortunately, for many years, my first name, JeremyBurgess.com, was not available. If it's not available, fine. Either on GoDaddy or one-in-one, you can pay to be notified when some fool forgets to pay their annual fee, and you can swoop in and snatch it. It took 4 years, but I got JeremyBurgess.com. If you can get that first. Otherwise, get a domain name that makes sense for what you're doing. Unless you have $1 billion to throw at the market. Ford, you wouldn't know what Ford was if they didn't spend $1 billion to tell you what they did. You don't have $1 billion. So don't pick something cute that somebody can't figure out what you're doing, right? Detroit wholesale, Detroit turnkey properties, Detroit, great values, whatever, Detroit rentals. Something when somebody types it in, not only is it giving you some SEO, but they immediately know from your name exactly, or a pretty good idea, what you do. Squeeze page. What is a squeeze page? A squeeze page is a one-page website where you sell people on your service and you give them something to get their information. This is not necessary in the beginning, but let's say that you had some money and you want to actually pay for some advertising, like I do, Google AdWords. You never pay for advertising you cannot track. I made that mistake to tens of thousands of dollars. I'm talking just a ridiculous amount of money that you can't track. You want to send them to a page where you can verify your results so it makes sense. You want to know if I spend $1,000, I made $20,000. You want to know I spent $1,000, wait, I don't know how much I made. So Squeeze Page is a one-page website. HotDetroitDeals.com is my squeeze page. If I'm paying for any sort of internet traffic, it's going there so I can track it every single day to make sure that any money I put into it, I get back out 10, 20, 30, 40 fold. You probably will want to pay someone to set up your squeeze page. Your blog can be as rustic as you absolutely want it. But when you're paying somebody to show up at a one page, that's not the time to have your brother-in-law working on it, and it kind of works and it kind of doesn't work. What does a good squeeze page cost? It varies. Anywhere from $500 to $1,500, depending on what you want it to do. But we'll go back into that. You don't have to do that in the beginning. You do everything else first. So what do we get from that? Get your name.com if you can. If it's not .com, get .tv. Otherwise, get something else. All right, I got a wife. I say wife because I'm happy that she's my wife. You say it like it's like a good thing, queen or something like that. All right, let's talk about some of the systems you need. Speed is the name of the game. I didn't start with any systems. You can do whatever you want, forever long you want, but at some point in time, your brain is going to fail you. Now, for me, it was very painful because I was born with two abilities. I could remember just about everything, keep track of it in my mind, like 100, 200, 300 bouncing balls at the same time. And I'm really good at lifting heavy things. But I found out after 500 people, I couldn't keep track of my head anymore. Maybe you're 1,000 people, maybe you're 100 people, maybe you're a 50 person, right? At some point in time, you will have so many things going on that if you don't have some sort of system to track it, you're just literally pissing dollars away, not knowing what your results are, missing out on opportunities. I did that. I did that bad. I did that for like 9 months before I had to like schedule my own intervention. Like, Jeremy, what the heck are you doing? This is stupid. You're spending all this money. You can't call these people back. Realize you forgot to call someone who's going to lend you $500,000 6 weeks ago. How'd that phone call go? You're like, man. And you don't do it on purpose. You just have too much going on. So the systems you need some sort of project management. I love Basecamp. It's basecamphq.com. Free project management. So you go, okay, I bought a house and I need to take it through, and there's some steps. I need the ACR, I need to find a water bill read. You can create these nice little tasks. You can even save the template. So you do the work once, and you've got this nice step A to step Z to get a property purchased, through rehab, through sale. I've got everything in there. It's basecamphq.com. I am not that technical. It looks like I'm very technical, but that's because I paid people who are technical, and then I just sat down and figured it out. I went through dozens of project management software programs, and most of them are written for somebody who works at Ford, GM, Chrysler, Lear, who are designing some sort of aircraft carrier. They need multiple stages, and they got fancy names for each stage, and crap, I got lost after 2. Basecamp is just so simple, and you won't go wrong. And it's free. Like your first 15 projects are free, and any project that you archive doesn't count against you. So for practically everybody in this room, you can use that resource forever for free right now, and it's awesome. You need customer relations management, CRM. As these people contact you, like I said, you might remember the first 10 or 15, or you might use a calendar. At some point in time, you are going to lose track of people. You need a way of scheduling tasks, keeping the information in one place. I like highrisehq.com. Still free. I think you get something like 500 contacts. For most people in this room, you could use this service forever for free. highrisehq.com. HIGHRISEHQ.com. Love it. Also, stupid simple. You can set tasks. You got to show up on your Google Calendar if you want. You can even BCC with a Dropbox emails you're contacting people, and it stores all the information in one place. There's an app for it. I can get you any one of 6,000 investors right now from a high-rise app on the phone. It's absolutely amazing, and it's free for like 500 contacts, and I believe up to 3 people. So even if you have a part-time employee or a wife or a husband or a cousin helping you, you can give them a login too, and they can do some of this work for you, right? highrisehq.com. Social media. There's a ton of it. Do as much as you have time for. But assuming you're busy like me, you gotta narrow the field to where most of the people are at. Facebook, 600 million users. YouTube, 600 million users. Twitter, 80 million. Twitter is a little difficult. It doesn't make sense at first until you really get it. Twitter is powerful for the search feature. You can't really search Facebook. You can search YouTube. I get a lot of leads that way. But Twitter is great for real time and for rapid sharing of information. And then LinkedIn. You want LinkedIn because if you want your daddy to lend you money, you gotta have some sort of corporate image for the world. I know I don't look like much here, but you know what? On LinkedIn, from here up, I look pretty good. Right? That's my little corporate picture. And they don't see my, 4:30 in the morning musing, or me hanging out with it. I just had a barbecue, and I had a bonfire. It was so bad, my in-laws couldn't stand watching. They were so scared I was going to burn the house down. They actually went for a walk. I shared that on Facebook. I didn't share it on LinkedIn, for obvious reasons. LinkedIn's a lot more professional, so treat it as such. Accounting. Do not make this mistake. You need a bookkeeper, or you need to be your own bookkeeper. I don't mean the way I was my bookkeeper, which was take a receipt and sit it in a pile and come back 2 years later. All right? You need a bookkeeper. If you aren't going to be your own bookkeeper, you need to hire a bookkeeper. A good bookkeeper is $15 to $20 an hour. Pretty good in this economy. It used to be a lot more. You can be your own bookkeeper if you learn, right? But you cannot be your own CPA. This stuff is so complicated. Don't. A good CPA, though, runs $200 to $300 an hour, which is why you use a bookkeeper. You don't pay your CPA $200 an hour to sort your receipts. You do it, or you pay the bookkeeper $15 to $20 an hour to sort your receipts. To this day, I'm paying for not doing this in the first 2 years. Pay. Not just in paying through taxes, because we screwed up, we didn't do it right, but because that's the kind of mistake your spouse doesn't want you to forget. Yeah. All right. So let's get down to meat and potatoes. Those systems are gold, by the way. That's absolute gold. That's tens of thousands of dollars. There's no point in learning this if you don't have a way to effectively put it out there. So this may seem like a little redundant, but how do you find these deals? Most of you know about the MLS. Not my favorite way to find deals. Now, in 2008, I was pretty lazy. The MLS was awesome. Oh man, awesome. 20, 30,000. I think at one point, 40,000 homes in Metro Detroit, 40% of them foreclosed, all in the MLS. I don't know if you remember 2008, it was my favorite year. Everybody thought the world was going to end and we're all going to die. It was really hard getting money, but let me tell you, I was buying nice houses for $5 grand. Not doing that anymore. I was doing it all day long. And it was a bitch to sell. But let me tell you, when I did, I made good money. Those days kind of passed. Can you get good deals on the MLS? Yes. And I'm going to tell you how. If you're going to actively farm, and I call it farming for a reason, we'll come back to it later. If you're going to actively farm the MLS, it is a daily routine. Daily. You have to have time to do it daily. And I don't mean look like it's your computer. You need to be able to look and drive. If you can't drive, you got to pay somebody to drive and go look. Because if it's good, it's gone. And if you really work the MLS, like Bob Norton's really good at it, Steve Mills, that's what he does. He snipes the MLS. He just sits there, checks it 6, 7, 8, 9 times a day. You'd be amazed at the deals he gets. But you know how he gets them? He looks, bam, he immediately knows that's a great address. He drives out, he's in it for 5 minutes. He's on the phone putting in a full price offer or more than a full price offer with a $50,000 EMD closing in 3 days. Like, why can't I get any of the good deals? Because you got guys like Steve Mills out there just snatching them up as fast as they can, because there's not 40,000 deals on the MLS anymore. In my area, at one point in time in Detroit, there's 15,000 houses for sale. Do you know how many there are right now? Less than 200 on the MLS. Less than 200. Is it competitive? Absolutely. Can you get deals though? Yes. You can get deals. But you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta hit it fast. If you see a house you like, don't sit there, don't say, I'll go tomorrow. You don't have an hour. get in your car, call the real estate agent on the way, get the lockbox, get in right there. So how do you get your MLS deals accepted, folks? That's a question I get all the time. It's like, well, I put in an offer, it was a full price offer. Yeah, if it was a good deal, I gotta tell you, it went fast. And your full price offer was crap. So I put an offer for $18,000 when you put an offer for $10,000. That's all they were asking. Banks got smart, what can I tell you? They used to ask for 30 and take 10. Now they ask for 10 and take 20. If it's a good house, if it's a really good house. And those are just examples of my houses. You can span that out across the entire area of Detroit. They list it significantly lower. There's fewer properties. Demand is at an all-time high. Basic supply and demand. At 18, oftentimes, I'm outbid. But if you really want an MLS offer accepted, do the math. I need to be in an alt. I'm just going to give you my math. I don't know your math. Don't use my math. I don't know your business model. I know my business model. I need to be all in at 30. So I'm walking through a house. I can tell in about 5 minutes how much work it needs. I subtract that work out of 30. I subtract $3,000 out of that because there's soft costs in real estate. You might not know about it. That's my highest and best offer. If it's an MLS deal, that's the offer I put in. I don't care if they're asking for 9 and mine's 21. I'm offering 21. My earnest money deposit is going to be, anybody want to take a guess? $21,000. I want that property. Next joker's got it for $500, wondering why he's not getting a phone call back from the real estate agent. Because if you want it, that's what you gotta do. Now don't worry, if you can't afford that, make it 5. But don't do 500, don't do 1,000. That's what everybody else is doing. It's just like, nah. Here's the cold hard truth. Under law, a real estate agent's supposed to submit every offer they receive to the seller of the property. Reality, they don't get paid shit. On a Detroit property, by the time they whack it up, they're maybe getting $500. They could give 2 rats' asses about your offer. They're going, what's the quickest way to a paycheck so I can put gas in my car because life sucks right now? So your offer comes through, they don't like it, 90% of them just go right in that little circular bin right next to them. You want to get accepted, hire EMD, know what you can pay, submit a proof of funds. What a proof of funds? A bank statement, a retirement account, something that shows you have the cash to buy the property. I know it seems elementary, but most real estate agents, if you don't even initially send that in, they go, it's a sign of professionalism. You didn't have to show me you know how to buy a property. Good chance your offer gets thrown in the garbage. Right? Here's the next trick. Don't do this until you have lots of experience or you hire someone to walk through the property with you. But I waive my inspection. I know exactly what I was looking at. First couple years I didn't do this. For good reason. I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. I was still kind of figuring it out, right? But once you know what you're doing, waive your inspection. Let me see. So it went on the market for 9. He offered 21. He waived his inspection. His earnest money deposit is $21,000. He submitted a proof of funds. Wait, I don't even need a proof of funds. I've got all the money I need to close right now. They're offering 28, but I don't know. That one might not close. Mr. Real Estate Agent is going, certain payday. I could stop working right now. Decent chance they'd go on that $28,000 offer and take my $29,000 offer. Decent. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's just probabilities. Next trick. And this is a hard one because they're very busy. They get 10 million phone calls a day from exactly what I'm going to tell you. But just please don't embarrass me. If you say you're going to do it, do it. Call the listing agent. Another way to get a lower offer accepted from higher offers is, let's say you can take that $500 and make it $1,000. In a normal real estate transaction, there's a listing agent and a buyer's agent. And they got to split this money, right? But if you go to the listing agent, he doesn't have to split that money with anybody. You just doubled his payday. So if you can, go to the listing agent. Here's the issue. Listing agents don't really sell property. They list property. They let other people sell it. So they can be very hard to get on the phone. I would recommend driving down in person, bringing some donuts, some coffee, something, talk to them, introduce yourself, buy property. Yes, I'm a real estate agent, but I know you don't get paid much. I'd like to use you. That also increases your chances of getting an offer accepted, even if it's a lower offer than what's out there. Remember, human, you're human. At the end of the day, you want food in the fridge, gas in the tank, electricity in the house, and a place to sleep. They're no different than you. The only difference is you don't have 100, 200, 300, assholes calling you every day, pretending to be something and not doing it. It gets old. Being a real estate agent is hard. It is hard, it is thankless. I think the only thing worse is being a mortgage broker. So, you're talking about some jaded people who've seen some pretty hard times, can't get loans through, and be their best friend if you actually do what you say you want to do. And be patient. It takes time to develop these kind of relationships, but you might as well start because you're going to be somewhere in 6 months or a year. You might as well be further ahead. I don't get most of my deals off the MLS. Most of my deals are non-MLS deals. What does that mean? Well, it just means the deal is not listed. It's not listed. I like these deals because MLS is easy. Everybody knows where to go to find them. They don't have to spend any money to look at them. Like most things, the easier it is to do, the less money there is in it. I didn't care in 2008 when there was thousands of them lying everywhere. I was quoted as acres of diamonds, and there literally were acres of diamonds. You just wade through them, right? Not necessarily the case right now. There's a lot of them out there, but now you need a shovel. You kind of need to dig a little bit. Non-MLS deals, they can still be foreclosures or pre-foreclosures. I'm going to go through a list of stuff I do. And they're all some sort of distressed asset. What does that mean? It either means the house sucks or the human circumstance around the house sucks. That's really all it means. It's not like some special thing like there's a sign out in front of the house that says distressed asset. No, either the house sucks and you can solve that problem, or the human circumstance behind that house sucks. And that's the one I prefer. Human circumstance. There's nothing wrong with the house. There's something wrong with the people, whether it's they're going into foreclosure, somebody died, it's in probate. People react to this differently. Some people can't handle going through their mother and father's house of 40 years. They don't even want to walk into it. They don't want to listen. They don't want to go put a sign. They don't want to show. They don't want to put a lockbox on. They don't want to go anywhere near it. A lot of times, you'll make an extra $4 or $5 grand on a wholesale just because they're like, can you do it this week? And I don't even want to give you the keys. Okay. It's a people problem. Bankruptcy is another good one. Divorce. They have to sell. Bankruptcy. The judge is deciding. My favorite of all time. It's going to sound evil, but it's not. Investor deals gone bad. Oh, love them. Investor deals gone bad. Either people here, not so much. Out of state, a lot. Out of country, more and more. Somebody who thought they knew what they're doing, they got one part of the component right, location, and they screwed everything else up. Now at the time, it's like, you know what, whatever I can get out of it, I can walk away, licking my wounds. I don't care how much you make, in the pain, please. In it. They thank you. They thank you as you're buying their property from them at a discount after they lost money. How do you find these people? Website. Nobody looks in the phone books anymore. And website, I mean blog, tell people. And like Derek said, I did this, and I remember I said farming. I was going to come back to farming. Farm people. Farm people. But it's just like farming. You plant seeds every single day with every single person you meet. Tell everybody what you do, and if you don't do it, tell them what you want to do, like Derek said. He's just talking about wanting to buy property. Don't pretend to be something you're not. I want to buy property in Detroit. I want to buy property in St. Clair Shores. Tell everybody. It takes time though. It's farming. This process is slow. It's a lot slower. It's not like the MLS where you can potentially get an offer accepted today. Maybe you get lucky and you do, but it's like farming. You gotta prepare the field, you gotta plant the seed, take care of it, water it, all that. Come back 9 months later, make a lot of money. The best way to contact these people, website, tell everybody what you do. Direct mail. Don't start on direct mail until you have the money to do it. Excuse me. Direct mail is very effective. Very effective. But it is a numbers game. It's a huge numbers game. It costs money. The cheapest I ever did it, and this is when my wife and I did it, which we no longer do, was I actually did letters that I hand wrote or signed, and I had hand addressed. I put stickers on the envelope, different color envelopes. You know, put my real address in the top left-hand corner. I sent out 5,000 of those. 10% of them would contact me back. I would close at about 2 or 3% of them. I had the money to do that though. So maybe your postage bill that month is $5,000. That's not a place to start, that's a place to end up. But that is the best way. You don't just send one letter, 3 to 5. Well, depending on how much time they have over a 3, 4, 5 month period. That's why they call it farming. Not every seed grows. Birds eat it, stuff falls away, whatever. You only get what's left over. Repetition. Success is in the action. You gotta do it again and again. Why people fail at marketing is they freaking quit. I marketed for me, I'm gonna sell my property, it sucks. Why can't I do it? Sometimes, despite your best efforts, you might have to sell something for a month or two. But I tell you, if you stop doing it, in a month or two, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, so just keep doing it. Any questions on how to find deals?
I got a question.
Shoot.
When you say the website, so how are you attracting people to your website?
Try to decide if you want to go into that.
That's good.
I will. Remind me when we get to best practices, okay? Please remind me. I don't want to forget. Yes, sir.
What's cost to join in on this?
I don't want to know because I'm not a real estate agent. I have no desire to be, and I will cover that under best practices. Any other questions? Yes.
Just like to get some of the leads off of YouTube about this one. How do you do that?
I will cover that under slide 11. How to slide in intimate detail. And that's actually probably the most gold you're going to get tonight because that thing just generates money. All right. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with addendums?
Yes.
Would you do one?
I don't care. I'll sign anything if I'm going to get the deal. I'll read it. If it doesn't seem too offensive, it doesn't say something like I can't sell it when I want to sell it, or you know, even if I got to do jumping jacks for an hour, whatever stupid thing they want me to do. But generally, if I like the deal, I will pretty much agree to whatever time frame, whatever stupid little things they want me to do. And most addendums are mostly, there's nothing to be afraid of. They're like CYA, cover your ass. The bank's scared. Oh, we never lived in it. There's mold, water, and blah, just right on down the list. We never lived in it. We just I think the last time I checked, Fannie Mae was 28 pages, 28-page addendum. I have a 2-page purchase and sale agreement I use. They have a 28-page addendum. I read it once, now I just sign it. Nothing ever changes, and I don't worry about contracts probably as much as I should, but it hasn't bit me in the ass too bad just yet.
I did.
Any questions?
Jerry,
Yes.
what is the best marketing method you would say to use now on the shoestring budget
For what? For buying?
for buying?
The internet, by far. And I'm going to get to that in the leads. It works both ways. All right? The internet. If you're not on the internet, except for some small pieces of direct mail I send out, everything is on the internet. Everything. And I will go into that to detail. It's all on the internet. And you can do it for as little as $1 a day, $10 a day, $5 a day. I think I'm up to $75 a day. But that's like after serious testing, okay? That's like, you don't start at $75 a day unless you like throwing money down the toilet.
I changed it.
Oh, you did? Thank you. All right, this is a little bit more complicated. I want to go through it quick, but not so quick. How do you know a deal's a deal? How do you evaluate deals? Well, you need access to the MLS. This doesn't mean I want you to be a realtor, okay? I don't, and I'll tell you why later, okay? But you need comps. You can also get this from an appraisal. Now, what I don't want you to do is call one up on the phone you don't know and ask for comps and give them nothing. You wonder why you're not having success in life? You work for money. So does everybody else. So let's quit pretending. I know there's some gurus say, well, if you want my business, you'll do this. No. Act professional, pay people. What I did, find the realtor who sells the most. How? Check out the signs, check out the marketing, Google, see where they show up on the internet. Wherever you see the most in the area, give them a call. Say, I want to take you out to lunch, and I want to give you money to run comps for me on a certain area. Well, what do you think your response is going to be to that? It's going to be okay. It's going to be yes. That's going to be something I want to work with. Versus, well, if you want to work with me, you'll do it for free, and then I'll just list whatever deal with you. You can also pay an appraiser to do the same thing. They have the same sort of access, right? But here's the information you need. You want to look for sold comps with low days on market. And low days on market means different things in different areas, right? In Detroit, low days on market is less than 2 weeks. In the suburbs, low days on market is less than 90 days, generally speaking. But you can apply this to any area you want to go invest in. You only want to look at the last 60 days of sold comps. Derek and mortgage people can answer that in detail, but anything longer than that, by the time you can do something with it, is absolutely worthless. So you only want information that you can actually use. Be sure to compare like properties. This isn't really a problem in Detroit because usually it's bungalows for miles and then colonials for miles and the occasional ranch mixed in between. But if you're in the suburbs, and like Southfield's a great example, there's stuff built from the 50s, stuff built in 2003, stuff built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. There's split level, there's ranch, there's all sorts of weird stuff. Square footage all over the board. Neighborhoods completely mixed. If a neighborhood's too mixed, avoid it. That's going to be what we call an appraisal nightmare. Run. Try and find something relatively homogeneous, meaning more of one thing than the other, and then compare those things. Basically, you're looking for apples, you want to compare apples. There's too many apples and oranges in the area, walk away. Go to where there's more apples, right? Square footage is important. When the home was built was important, and condition of the home. This is really tricky, because the MLS absolutely sucks. And I'm going to vent here a little bit. We put a frickin' man on the moon. Man on the moon. And the best thing we've come up with is realtors and the MLS, where maybe you can have 10 pictures, and guess what? The realtor can't even tell you what's wrong with the house. They can't even tell you if it's a good area, legally. They can't say anything. You wonder why there's only one picture, and it says needs work, or TLC, or all that other worthless crap, gives you no information. That's why. That's the sum product of our national genius here. So, when you're looking at these comps, they're accessing the MLS for these comps. So you have very little data to work with, so there's a lot of wiggle room. Generally speaking, there's going to be some really low sales. It's probably really jacked up property, right? Something fire damage, or just hadn't been updated in 60 years, or had a foundation problem. And there's going to be some really high stuff, super nice property. And there's going to be some sort of range in the middle, right? I want you to throw out that low crap and throw out that high crap. The information's not perfect. You don't know what was wrong with the house. Focus as much as possible on that stuff in the middle, right? That's going to give you some sort of value. do this weekly. Do this weekly. And actually, if you read a Detroit Free Press, you don't want to pay anybody and you're just bored. They have a real estate section every week. I believe it's on Sunday, and they list all the sales. So you kind of keep up like, oh, Snow Industry, that's 2 hours away from another one. Oh, that sold for 26. Oh, cool. So once you catch up, it's easier to stay caught up than it is to get there. However, this ignores an entire component of the market, which is investor sales. Especially in wholesaling, the MLS sucks, does not work. I have not been able to successfully wholesale anything on the MLS for all the reasons I just told you. It's a crappy system, especially for investors. It's especially true with anything turnkey, which is primarily what I do. Turnkey, once again, meaning I bought it, it was ugly, I made it pretty, I put somebody in it, and I sold a performing asset, right? If you want to find out where that market is in your area, now you need to hit Google. Detroit Wholesaler, Cleveland Wholesaler, wherever you're looking at, Detroit Investment Properties, go on down the list. Google for like 2 hours, see what people are selling at, what areas they're selling at for, where the price points are at, and you're going to come up with a bottom number and a top number. So shoot for between. All right? Am I going too fast? Does that make sense? This is pretty high level stuff, but I think you guys are all smart enough to figure it out. Most of you know how to do a lot of this stuff, but I figure with a little extra attention to detail, you can really go out and just hammer it home. So, all right, well that was boring, but you gotta do it so you know what your values are. I got it. I kind of went over this, but how do you buy a deal? There's a lot of apprehension that I remember, because I remember my first deal in early 2005. And I wasn't really scared of contract. I was scared of not knowing the procedure. Procedure, like not for some reason, not knowing that procedure really disturbed me at a very deep level that was damn near paralyzing me criminally, right? So if that's not you, bear with me. I'm going to walk you through the procedure in case you're like me. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the documents. And we're going to talk a little bit about the money, okay? So the procedure is pretty simple. When you have a house, whether it's on the MLS or not, and you like the house and you want to buy the house, very simple. Purchase and sale agreement. You don't have one? Call a title company, ask for one. They tell you to go away, go to Home Depot, buy one. It's not perfect. It's like a 2 or 3 page at most. If it's longer than 3 pages, throw that sucker away. The one I use is 2 pages. 2 pages. And pretty much the only important information that needs to be on the purchase and sale agreement is the address. How much you're buying it for, when you're buying it, where you're closing at, what your EMD is, whether there's an inspection clause or not. That's it. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. It could be a napkin. But you need a PA. You need to sign it. Obviously the seller, the buyer needs to sign it too. Proof of funds, which we discussed before. Generally, a homeowner will not ask for this. They're not savvy enough to ask for a proof of funds. Give it to them anyway. But definitely, if it's an MLS deal, you don't even need to talk to them until you get this stuff. You know, earnest money deposit. Never, ever, 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 ever give it to the seller of the property in any circumstances. You either give it to the real estate brokerage or preferably a title company. Why? Because people are thieving fools. They are, absolutely. If this deal goes bad, what if they don't give you that money back? What if there's not clear title? They promise to deliver clear title, and they cannot deliver clear title. In the meantime, if you physically gave it to them, you have no recourse, but you do. It's called small claims court, but what do you do with the odds of getting that money back? Slim to not. So, and a title company. That's it. You got a deal. PA, signed. Proof of funds. Earnest money deposit. Title. Congratulations. That's how you buy a house. But what if I want to assign a house? All right, you add one more thing to it. Assignment of purchase and sale agreement. A 1-page paper that says, I sell my interest in this purchase and sale agreement to this person for this much. Put it on the HUD. Pay me at closing. You can type it up yourself. Title company can give it to you. Piece of cake. Nothing to be scared. There's nothing scary here, right? The title company does not know what the hell you're talking about. Hang up, call another one. I tell you, that title company is the wrong one. They're doing like refinances for people that live in homes for 20 years, and you know, very different title company to someone when you're buying and selling property the same day. That's a very different title company. So if they go, what's an assignment? Thank you. I appreciate the time you spent with me. Have a nice day. Any questions about buying the deal? Yes.
Jeremy, what do you charge as far as your minimum wholesale fee?
There is no minimum. Whatever I can fairly get that I feel good about, that somebody else can feel good about, if I'm forced to disclose that information.
Then another question. Do you wholesale bank-owned properties?
No. Well, yes, I buy them first.
Okay, you buy them, you close it. and then-
Unfortunately, you do not have that kind of flexibility with assignments.
Right. Can you?
But have I bought and sold one the same day?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So you
Yep.
do double simultaneous closing or?
Yep.
Transactional funding?
Yes, you need some of that. You can't use your buyer's money to close on your side of the deal. That's the illegal part.
Right.
But you have money, or your mom and dad puts up money for a day, then they close out your side, they close out their side, and they give you a check for the stuff that's in between. Absolutely. Done that a lot. Yes.
You mind sharing who you use for your title?
Absolutely not. Continental title.
And another question, as far as either the appraiser or the real estate agent, what do you normally have for their services?
Depends how long I'm going to be with them. Generally, about $25 an hour plus lunch.
Okay.
Yep. It's fair. The point isn't to make them rich. The point is to let them know you're serious and you want to work with somebody good. Because it's not just a matter of getting access to the information, it's a matter of interpreting that information. So if you took my advice and you picked somebody with lots of signs, who did lots of deals in the area you're interested in, you're kind of piggybacking on that real estate agent's knowledge. So especially if it's a funny neighborhood, like there's plenty in Southfield, where it's all sorts of different houses, and they sell for dramatically less around here and much more there. If you can piggyback on that knowledge, it's better, but just enough to be serious. Any other questions?
Jim, where's Continental Title Company located?
I think they just moved to Troy.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were in Sterling Heights, they're in Troy. I'll give you their number.
They're on Big Beaver, East Big Beaver, and Lebanon.
You know what's funny? I've probably done 150 deals with them. I've never been there, never met a single one of them. Only talked to them on the phone. Hold on. Please wait one.
Chris.
You know it's not popping up right now? Ask me before I leave, I'll give you that phone.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
What is your formula when you buy a house? I mean, in terms of,
If I'm gonna put work into it, money and time, no less than $5,000. I need net $5,000. Because it generally takes me 60 to 90 days to take a non-performing asset to a performing asset. It takes time, energy, effort, all that. So $5,000. If I'm doing something quick, as much as I can get, as fast as I can get.
Jeremy, we're about 10 minutes over. I talked to Mark, we have permission to go about five plus more minutes.
All right.
I know you won't get through everything.
All right, we are skipping ahead.
We're gonna take about 10.
No more questions, sorry.
This is Sel.
All right, everybody have the sheet in front of them? This is probably the most important part, so let's get to this. Gina?
I'll get you one.
There's one right here. Yep. You don't have it? All right, what are you looking at? You see Tumblr blog, just think website, right? So the question I'm answering is, how do you sell your deals? How do you sell your deals? This is exactly how I sell my deals. The only thing you have to do is frickin' do it. I can't record your videos, I can't buy your property, I can't market your property. This is exactly how I do it. It starts with a blog, which is also your website, right? You have Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and a Facebook fan page. You create content, preferably video content, like the content I'm creating right now. Do not matter if it's perfect. My first Detroit Investor TV episode I did, I was standing in front of my 1971 Volkswagen van, and 30 seconds into it, it sounds like 30 cop cars go rushing by, like there's just somebody murdered 2 blocks up the street. You know what? One take, keep it real. At the time, I was experimenting with a ponytail, which was a really bad idea. I kind of looked like a pedophile. It was terrible, or at least a redneck. And this is me. I'm literally, I turned the camera, I put, bam. You know how many hits that one video has? 1,200. 1,200 hits. And I look like a hillbilly, wholesaling property with a crack deal going down up the street. Cops killing me, right? Don't worry about getting it right. Just do it. So you've got your blog. You create content for this blog. If you don't know what you're talking about, get on there and say, I'm new. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going on this journey. Here's what I'm going to be doing. And tell the world. If you want to see a perfect example of this, it's Todd and Kelly Bradingham, who literally last year in August had done 0 deals. They did a blog for 60 days, put up a video every single day. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to wholesale a house. They did this every day. It was great. They were brutally honest. Since then, they've wholesaled 8 houses. 8 houses. They knew nothing about real estate. They bought a crappy condo in Pontiac they were living in before then. That's it. Do it that way. Create your content, put it on your blog. Then share this blog across your social media profiles. And you have to do more on your social media profiles than just share, like, give me money. Put your life on there. Like today was a really crappy day for me. It felt like a horse kicking me in the nuts. It was that bad. I didn't know whether to puke, cry, fall over, or curl up in a ball. It was that bad. I put it on my Facebook. I didn't put it on my LinkedIn. That's a little more professional. But it went on my Facebook. People are following me. You got to be real. Don't pretend to be something that you're not. For the advanced users, you know something that says AWeber. This is very low cost. There's a form that AWeber gives you that goes into your blog. What is AWeber? It is an email communication software management tool. They come to your blog. Hey, sign up for my newsletter. Preferably, I'll give you a free report or something. Sign up for my newsletter. They give you their email address. You give them something. Now you've established a way to communicate with them, right? Time. Be honest with me, time. Chris, am I doing okay? You look like you're gonna have kittens. 2 more minutes?
Yeah, you're fine.
You'll see Google pay-per-click. I love Google pay-per-click. It is the best, cheapest, fastest way to get leads. I cannot go into how to do Google pay-per-click. I will say that with Google pay-per-click, ignorance is very expensive. I had no idea. You can blow thousands of dollars fast. I'm talking fast. Google loves you. They're like, oh, click, 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 click. If you don't know what you're doing, every click costs you $4, $5, $6, $7. If you know what you're doing, a click can cost you anywhere from 20 cents to $1.80 for highly competitive words. But there's no better way. Everything else requires farming. Remember farming? You plant the seeds and you wait. Google AdWords is worth learning. It's like turning on a faucet. That's, you want leads now, you turn on the faucet now. Generally speaking, it's got to the point where if I spend $1,000 on Google pay-per-click, I will make $25,000 in return. Good book is there's an idiot's guide for Google AdWords. I'm gonna tell you, it's boring, terrible, dry shit. It's horrible, it's awful. Words I didn't know, they just like wanna slam your head into the door. I'm just telling you it's gonna suck. Worth learning. Worth learning. Have any questions on this? This is exactly, Jeremy, how do you sell your deals? This is exactly what I do. I create content. I share that content. When they come to me, I capture their information in exchange for something. I initiate a conversation. I determine where they're at. They go into my CRM. I close a certain percentage of them. I get paychecks, rinse, repeat all day long. It's exactly how I do it. If you wanted to farm this, you can do this for practically free. Let's say you have $30 in your checking account right now. You've got enough money to do this. As long as you need $10 for your domain address, bam, that's it. You're in the game. Then you start farming. Create content, share content. Create content, share content. Create content, share content. You can't afford Google AdWords? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months down the road, you'll start being able to harvest that. And I want to end, I will answer questions outside as long as necessary, as long as somebody gives me a form of tobacco, because I didn't bring any. If you don't have any tobacco, go away. All right, this is a little sexy, but this is a man's business. When I say man, it's tough. Right? This is not for someone who just wants to, but this cracks me up, but this is a great attitude to have. There's a lot of truth in it.
The marathon was the hardest thing I've ever done. But remember, pain is temporary and quitting lasts forever. You want to feed the warrior?